you very much, Mr. Poon. Is the microphone working? Ambassador, thank you much for your very warm welcome. Minister, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen. It's really a pleasure to talk about floating cities. I need to choose which screen I'm looking at, actually. But last week we had in the Netherlands a very special event. And it's called the Nuclear Security Summit. And it's really amazing to see how 53 leaders in the world can really shut down a big part of the country, actually, including 2 major cities like Amsterdam and The Hague completely shut down. But for us, it was okay because there was no traffic jam at the A4, and on national television there were really great pictures about this event. And I want to show you 2 pictures, actually. The first one is President Obama entering our National Museum. It's quite an entrance, I think, right? And the second one is the president inside the museum and having a great dialogue with our most famous national painter, Rembrandt van Rijn. And I really love this picture because you wonder what would these 2 great leaders in their time and field say to each other today, right? And I don't know about the president, but I think that our national painter Rembrandt would say, next time you come to our country, you bring your boats, because we're building floating cities now. Thank you for having me talk a bit about floating cities. But maybe it's good, before talking about floating cities, to ask yourselves, why should we build a floating city in the first place? I mean, what's wrong with the current situation? And what I would like to do is to take you a bit through my ideal definition of a city right now. And then I do take you to some nasty scenarios in the future that might come up to us. But then we fight ourselves away to a happy ending and presenting some nice solutions that I think will work. Okay, I usually use the simple word for a city, the letters of home, because a city should feel like a home. And where the H stands for a healthy city, clean water, clean transportation, clean air, safety, stuff like that. And the O stands for opportunity that a city should offer to its citizens. Opportunities in an economical way, social way, sports, cultural way. And the M is, of course, stands for metropolitan, the dynamics of a city, the design of it, like our minister said, the great architect Koolhaas that is building the interlace over here. It's a beautiful design. And it gives colors and smells to a city, and running in the park on Sunday morning, having late night dinners in the city. But the E is the worrying part. It's about the future. And I call this everlasting. And sure, I know that nothing is everlasting. Sure. But you always predict scenarios for the future to be better. But I see some things coming up that might be not so good. And I call this our sustainability challenges. And I do have to go through this, actually, before going to the opportunities. So I tried to find one word to relate all these sustainability challenges to, and I came up with the word land. And I want to go through 3 challenges that we see ahead. And the first one is definitely the growth of the world population. And I think we all know the numbers, but just again, it's 200,000 people every day, which add up to 70 million people a year, which cumulates to 2 billion people in the next 20 to 30 years. And sure, there are several scenarios, but a lot of scientists still keep on this scenario, 2 billion people in the next 20 to 30 years. Can you even imagine it? I mean, I read an article of a scientist in the US, and he wrote that we need approximately 20 million square kilometers more of land to feed and to house these people. 20 million square kilometers. That's the size of North America. The second thing is we know that the most people will move to cities. We will create mega cities in the next years, and that will give even more pressure on the demands for water and food and space and housing. And it really worries me that we keep on expanding these cities. We keep on changing earth for concrete. Well, we should keep our Earth for food and for oxygen and for rain catchment instead of changing all this Earth in concrete. I really should say we should stop with doing this. Well, the third is, of course, our climate challenge. Wow, I have 5 minutes left. That goes fast. Okay, I need to speed up. So the climate challenge is a big one as well. Because of overbuilding all these cities and depleting our sources for water and energy, the world is still sinking. And not many people are aware of it, but we are sinking actually. And on the other hand, we see the sea level rising, and here you have the challenge, right? So, so where can we go? I mean, we can go to space, right? Sir Richard Branson is doing a lot of research to go into space, but it's not proven. It's very expensive, and it's definitely not a short-term solution. We can go into the desert. Very expensive as well. No natural resources, no water, no food. So I want to take you to some projects we did, because I'm from the Netherlands, and we have quite a history on water. We started building dikes about 700 years ago to fight against the water. We started living on the water since about 200 years ago. Maybe you've all seen the famous houseboats in the city of Amsterdam. And we thought, why don't we try to develop this last solution, this houseboat, to a new status? Why don't we build floating cities with the technologies we know now? So I would like to show you, because of the time, some projects that we are doing right now in the Netherlands. And I would like to take you virtually from Singapore to the Netherlands. And going to my hometown, it's Rotterdam. It's a very big port, as the minister already said, like Singapore. You see over here the city of Rotterdam, and there as well. And so you see the sea, and from the city to the sea, it's all port. So I need to go a bit more closer in detail, because what you see happening in the main cities in the world is that the port is moving more and more towards the sea, leaving all kind of old ports in the city center that will be transferred into, like Singapore says, livable cities. And the city of Rotterdam has asked us to design a new ecological floating city in one of these old ports. And actually, it's in the city center. You see it over here. So they asked us to design something very ecological over here, in this part, in the right corner, in Rotterdam. And we start thinking, we start talking with universities and many companies, how can we create this floating city and have a solution for the future? And we wanted to do it different ways, so not from an urban planning perspective, drilling down to local situations and then the building, but we wanted to do it from the building and try to find a technical solution for what we call the life essentials: water, energy, food, and create some scale. So the first building we designed is a hotel. And a hotel is like a small city. Every day people coming in and out, sleeping, eating, producing food, waste, water, and stuff like that. So we designed this floating hotel. It's completely floating, and it's completely self-sufficient on water. You see 3 levels. Underneath the water, it's a floating construction. Then you see a hotel and a greenhouse on top. Together with our National Research Institute, TNO, we covered the entire water cycle inside the building. And it's based on rainwater. But we do not have enough rain in the Netherlands. We think we do, actually, but it's not enough to have an answer for the demand in the hotel. So we need 3 times more rain to have an answer on the hotel demand. So what we're doing is continuously reusing the water to the last drop to have it done by rainwater. This one, the big building is starting to construct in 2016, and this technology we will start, wow, 2 minutes, right? This technology we will start in a pilot hotel. This is a 40-room hotel, also in the city of Rotterdam. So sitting down with the team, we said, okay, so if we can do this, we can build any building on the water. Housing, schools, you name it, churches, we can do it on a building. But what life essential are we missing if we cover water and energy and food, stuff like that? So one of the team members said, we're missing dairy. So, okay, dairy, all right. So maybe we should design a floating farm then. And actually, that's what we did. So I said, well, I want to have two more criteria in the design, beside of having an answer on energy and water. I want to have it transparent, because we're talking about food. So I want to have this transparent design, and also interactive. So this is the one we designed, the milk factory as we call it. Completely floating, self-sufficient on water and energy, stuff like that. And a very attractive building, I think, personally. And here you see a picture of it, and you see two parts. And the milk factory, I think you believe the milk factory, but you also see the floating cow farm, right? And that's a social project to make children aware that they can adopt a cow, maybe with their family or their class or their sports team, adopt a cow, and become partly owner of the milk the cow produces. So if you hop on your bike the next morning, you see on your smartphone, hey, I earned some money again. Make children aware that stuff like this can also be profitable. So the cow farm, actually, because it can be done completely sustainable. We designed it to be floating. We can create greenhouses, including these farmhouses, underwater. So to end up, I really believe in innovation as collaboration. So not only on technologies, but also on countries. So I would really appreciate to start this designing together, actually. And together with the universities in Singapore and the companies in Singapore, between Netherlands and Singapore. So I would like to ask, maybe there is a little space over here in Singapore, or a little budget, maybe to create something like a new city, innovative city for the future. Thank you very much.